Welcome to day 7 of your 14-day challenge. If you're watching this, you've already done something most people never do. You made it through the first week of a program without ghosting it. That alone is a big deal. You might not have been perfect. Maybe you missed a workout. Maybe a meal went off the rails. That's normal, okay? What matters is you're still here. You're still in it. And today we're going to use everything you've done so far to make week 2 even better. All right. So day 7 is all about these next things, okay? First, we're going to review what actually happened this week without beating yourself up about anything, okay? We're going to celebrate wins you might be ignoring. We're going to make a couple small adjustments so week 2 is more effective and easier to follow, all right? We're also going to talk about a reset reward meal, how to enjoy one meal without turning it into a whole cheat day that wipes out all of your hard work, all right? So first, let's look at some data. It's not to judge you, but it's to understand what's going on, all right? So here's what I want you to do today. First, you're going to weigh in. Same as day 1, ideally in the morning, after the bathroom, before food or drink, all right? Write that number down next to today's date in the app. Measurements. Grab your tape measure, remeasure your waist, belly button level, hips. Write those down for day 7 too. And then I want you to write down how you feel. So on a scale from 1 to 10, rate your energy this week, your confidence, how well your clothes are fitting, and then the important part, right? Don't freak out if the scale isn't some crazy number. Okay, ask yourself these bigger questions. So is my weight trending down, even just a little? Do my clothes feel the same or a bit looser or tighter? Do I feel more in control than I did on day 1? All right. So sometimes, guys, the scale moves slower, but your inches and energy are already starting to change. So that definitely counts. That is real progress. All right. So next, we're going to do a quick, honest reflection. So grab your tracker or piece of paper and answer these questions. You can pause me as you go so you can answer them. So first, question 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, how consistent were you this week? Be honest and not dramatic, okay? So 1 to 3, I barely did anything, right? 4 to 6, I was on and I was off. 7 to 8, I was mostly consistent. And then 9 to 10, I freaking nailed almost everything, all right? Question 2, which areas were you strongest? Was it your workouts, your steps and your movement? Was it your water, nutrition, protein, right? Was it your sleep or was it your wind down routine? Next, question number 3, which areas were the toughest? Where did you struggle the most this week? Was it evenings and your snacking? Was it getting your workouts in? Was it planning food? Was it stress, long work days? And then question number 4, what's one thing you're proud of from this week? Okay, it could be I did my first workout in months. I stopped drinking pop. I didn't quit even when I messed up. I want you to write down at least one win, all right? Most people only see where they fall short. I want you to practice seeing what you did right. So now we're going to make some adjustments for week 2. It's not going to be a full overhaul. It's not starting over. It's just 1 or 2 smart tweaks based on what you just wrote. So look back at that reflection and just kind of ask, like, where did I lose the most consistency, right? What made things harder than they needed to be? So some examples of adjustments for this next week could be if you struggled with workouts, schedule them at a different time of day or reduce the quantity from 4 to 3, right? Focus sessions that you can actually make. If nutrition was a little chaotic, pre-plan just 2 meals per day, like lunch and dinner, instead of trying to plan every single bite, all right? If evenings kept derailing you, commit to your wind down and kitchen closing time at least 4 nights this week, all right? If your steps were low, right, anchor a short walk to something you already do throughout the day. So after lunch, after dinner, or during a phone call, right? So now we're going to pick one main adjustment for week number 2. So write it down as this. My week 2 focus is blank. So examples of that would be hit 3 workouts no matter what, right? Wind down 10 minutes before bed at least 4 nights. So what happens is trying to change everything at once usually fails. So changing 1 to 2 things on purpose tends to stick. Now let's talk about something important. That's going to be your reset/reward meal. Done right, a planned meal can help you mentally reset and still keep you on track. So here's how to do that. Number 1 is you're going to make it one meal. All right. It's not going to be a whole day, right? You're going to pick one meal in the next 24 to 48 hours that feels special. Maybe that's, a brunch out, a dinner out, your favorite meal at home, right? You're going to keep your normal structure around it. So you're still going to have solid protein focused breakfast or lunch, right? Don't show up to your reward meal starving. That's definitely a recipe for going way overboard, right? Still use that simple plate rule at the meal. So you're going to have your protein, add whatever, carb or treat it is that you want, but avoid the eat everything in sight mindset. All right. And then definitely stop at satisfied, not at I can't breathe. So think of this meal as part of the plan. It's not a break from the plan. All right. So you didn't cheat. You decided ahead of time, you enjoyed it, and then you went right back to your basics at the next meal. All right. So if you also feel out of control around certain foods, maybe let's keep this meal a little bit more tame for now, and then we can loosen up more once your habits are more steady. All right. So in the NevoFit app, I want you to log your new weight and measurements, mark off your day 7 check-in, write down your week 2 focus, right? And then if you do have your reset meal today or tomorrow, just jot down a quick note about how that went. All right. And then share your week 1 win and week 2 focus with your coach. So if you've done that, you've done exactly what high level clients do. Okay. They don't just push harder, they review, they adjust, and then they move forward with a smarter plan. All right. So take a second and realize something. Most people never make it to day 7 of anything. Okay. They binge a program for a couple of days, then they fall off and then avoid looking at it. But you did the actual opposite of that, right? You showed up, you looked at your data, you were honest about what worked and what didn't, and you made a plan to improve. That's how you stop being a burnt out restarter and become someone who just keeps going, even when the week wasn't perfect. So tomorrow we're going to tighten things up just a bit, especially with nutrition, so you can build on this momentum and keep those pounds coming off. I'll see you on day 8.